meet Science Brain. It's basically the world's most powerful supercomputer with the goal of simulating the human brain. While it doesn't look like much right now, it'll one day be capable of thinking and feeling just like us humans. Well, at least that's what the scientists behind it think. But is this really possible? Let's find out in today's episode of C-Show. In 2021, Chinese scientists announced they had built the world's first brain-like computer chip called Science Brain. The chip's name is an acronym for Simulation of Brain Function Using Multi-Scale Integrated Neural Networks Architecture. Basically, it's a supercomputer that mimics the structure and function of a biological brain. And it could revolutionize how we process information and make decisions. The concept of creating artificial intelligence that mimics the human brain has been around since the 1950s. In fact, Alan Turing, the father of theoretical computer science, proposed the idea of a machine that could think in 1950. At the time, however, the technology didn't exist to create such a machine. Fast forward to today, and we're finally starting to see some progress. Science Brain is the latest and greatest example. The Chinese team behind the project believe that by understanding how the human brain works, they can create a computer chip that can think like us. They also hope their creation will help us better understand ourselves and potentially lead to new treatments for neurological disorders. So, how does it work? Well, the chip itself is nothing particularly special. It's just a standard computer chip with 1 million transistors. What makes it unique is the software that runs on it. This software is designed to mimic the structure and function of a biological brain. It's divided into two parts. The first part is the hardware, which is responsible for processing information. The second part is the software, which is responsible for controlling the hardware and giving it meaning. To date, the team has successfully completed two key steps towards developing a science brain. The first step was to develop a chip that can process information like a brain cell. They did this by creating a chip with a structure similar to a dendrite, which is the input signal receiving part of a brain cell. The chip was then fed with data and the results were analyzed. The team found that the chip was able to process the information like a real dendrite. This was a major breakthrough because it showed that a computer chip could mimic the structure and function of a biological neuron. The second step was to develop a chip that can control other chips like a brain cell. To do this, the team created a chip with a structure similar to a synapse, which is the part of a brain cell that controls other cells. The chip was then connected to other chips and electrical signals were sent through it. The team found that the chip was able to control the other chips like a real circuit. This was another major breakthrough because it showed that a computer chip could mimic the way brain cells communicate with each other. So, what's next for Science Brain? Well, the team is now working on connecting multiple chips together to form a neural network. They hope to create a network that can perform complex tasks such as image recognition and natural language processing. Eventually, they hope to create a science brain that can think and feel like a human being. But what does the future hold for science brain? Will it one day replace us humans, or will it augment our abilities? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, Science Brain is one of the most ambitious projects in the field of artificial intelligence, and it has the potential to change the world as we know it. Here's why Science Brain is so important. First of all, it could lead to major advances in artificial intelligence. By understanding how the human brain works, we can create AI systems that are more efficient and capable than anything that's come before. Think about it. Your smartphone uses AI to recognize faces, translate languages, and even drive cars. But these systems are still nowhere near as good as humans. Science Brain could change that. It could lead to AI systems that can truly understand and interact with the world around them. It could also lead to breakthroughs in neuroscience. By studying how science brain works, we can learn more about how the human brain works. This could lead to new treatments for neurological disorders such as Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. It could even lead to the discovery of new brain functions that we never knew existed. Finally, it could lead to the development of new technologies. Who knows what kind of technologies we will develop once we understand how the human brain works? Maybe we'll create new drugs or devices that can enhance our brains. Or maybe we'll create entirely new ways of communicating or interacting with the world around us. The possibilities are truly endless. Of course, there are also risks involved in creating a science brain. Some people worry that it could lead to the creation of machines that are smarter than humans, which could pose a risk to our very existence. First, it's highly interconnected. For example, it's highly fault-tolerant, meaning that it can continue to function even if some of its parts are damaged. It's also extremely energy efficient, consuming only a fraction of the power that a traditional computer consumes. These features make Science Brain unlike any other computer in the world. Another amazing thing about Science Brain is its scalability. The team behind the project has developed a modular design that allows the chip to be easily expanded. This means that they can add more processing power as needed without having to redesign the entire system. This makes Science Brain a very flexible platform that can be used for a wide range of applications. Overall, Science Brain is an amazing example of what can be achieved when computer scientists, neuroscientists, and engineers work together. The team behind the project has made incredible progress in a short amount of time, and I am excited to see what they accomplish in the future. There are also some interesting ethical questions raised by Science Brain. For example, what happens when a science brain becomes sentient? What rights would it have? How would we treat it? These are difficult questions that we need to start thinking about now. We do not want to repeat the mistakes of the past by creating a new form of slavery or oppression. Despite the challenges, I believe that creating a science brain is one of the most worthwhile endeavors that humanity has ever undertaken. The potential benefits are simply too great to ignore. By understanding how the human brain works, we can create a better future for ourselves and for all of humanity. What do you think? Is creating a science brain the most important project in the world? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos of C Show. Thanks for watching.